know where you are, in New York or in other states. It's really great to make this connection over the ocean. Yeah, this is the second weekend for the introduction to Mahamudra. So exploring awareness, exploring presence, exploring consciousness. And last time I talked a bit about the preliminary practices, the foundation of Mahamudra practice, bodhicitta and refuge, a connection to a teacher. And yeah, I want to continue to guide you a bit into this exploration. And I want to start with a quote from Lama Yeshe's book, not the book on Mahamudra, but this one, Introduction into Tantra, which is partly a Mahamudra book as well. And in the beginning of the book, Lama Yeshe introduces to the fundamental paradigm of the Tantric worldview, which is part of the Mahamudra view. And he writes, dwelling deep within our heart and within the hearts of all beings without exception, so that's pretty inclusive, within the hearts of all beings without any exception. So that includes all of us, is an inexhaustible source of love and wisdom, an inexhaustible source of love and wisdom. And the ultimate purpose of all spiritual practices, whether they are called Buddhist or not, is to uncover and make contact with this essentially pure nature. So right from the beginning, maybe we can connect as a group with each other on a deep level, appreciating the different faces and personalities and places and cultures and languages we are coming from. So that's one level, the condition level. But we can go deeper and connect on that level, which I think we all intuit. We have an intuition that there is something bigger, something more profound, something which is calling us. Maybe since childhood, or something which is calling you home, or something which also breaks through in your life and broke through in your life. Something you can't explain. But something you long for, something you yearn for. And I agree with Lama Yeshe saying whether they are Buddhist or not. So I agree with that, that I have a sense that all spiritual traditions are on the way to make contact or to uncover what we really are. And with that, to heal the cause for all struggle, the cause for all war, the cause for all greed and aggression. And that is the dualistic split, the sense of separation, the sense of I am against the others, or the sense of what about me? What about me? What do I get out of this for me? So to heal that, to relax that, so that this sun of love and wisdom Lama Yeshe is pointing to can reveal herself, can shine through us, so that through the voice and through the way we look at people and how we act in the world is not based on that confusion, on that distortion of reality, but it is based on reality, based on connectedness, based on oneness or unity. And in the tantric view, we develop the trust that this inexhaustible source is available at any moment. It is available now. It is not something which we can experience only in the future. You know? So that's something which can break in, or can be felt, or can be, at least in a glimpse, can be experienced in any moment. And a meeting like this might be an opportunity, because when we come together with the intention of compassion and with a trust, some trust in the Tibetan tradition, some trust in the masters of the Mahamudra tradition, and we create a field of connectedness, where maybe the contraction of the narrative self can relax a bit, and there can be a recoiling, like an opening into something which is bigger, something which is not localized, something which carries many names. In the Tibetan tradition, the nature of mind, or Buddha nature, Rigpa in Tibetan. Something which is aware. And in our meditation, I would like to point to that. And of course, it's difficult to point something which is undescribable and ungraspable. So that's why in the Mahamudra tradition, that pointing out often happens through metaphors or poems. But sometimes a word which somehow clicks in, can give you a taste or a glimpse. So when I say spacious, loving awareness, so then what I invite you to do is not to go into the head and have an intellectual understanding of what does it mean with spacious, loving awareness, and what's the definition of that, and is that the same as Buddha nature or something, but rather listening to the guided meditation as if you would listen to music or to a poem, and to feel into it, to notice the responses within your being. Just so my voice, to just listen to the responses in your being. And the responses in your being, they are not only happening here. So that's why in the beginning of this meditation, I will invite you to connect with your body, to feel the felt sense of the mood you're in right now, to bring you completely along as you are. And initially in the beginning of Mahamudra practice, the most important instruction is to let this moment be what it is, to allow yourself to be loyal to your experience right now, the experience of the conditioned level of your being. So it is a practice initially of not applying antidotes like in other meditations, where we would do a loving kindness meditation, or we would kind of try to manipulate our mind a little. So here the Mahamudra meditation initially is an invitation into the present moment, into present moment awareness, and to just be aware of what is happening, and that is already happening. You are already aware. So there is no effort involved to be aware. It is a recognition of that presence or that awareness which makes it possible for you right now to hear this voice. So when I say a word, it is known, it is recognized, it lands somewhere within you, but where? And what is that? And you don't know. You can't describe it, you can't point to it, but there is something. And Lama Yeshe says that something is in the nature of love. So the emptiness of mind, or the Buddha nature, or the nature of your mind, sometimes it sounds a bit kind of devoid of compassion, devoid of love. But that is actually essence love, how Dzogchen Rinpoche or Mingo Rinpoche calls it, essence love. That is essence love. So initially, you allow yourself in Mahamudra meditation to be infinitely loved. Not by you, but by the presence of loving awareness, the presence, the Dhammakaya, the presence of the Lama, which pervades everything and is everything. So I almost said meditate, but that's maybe a little bit too much. So sometimes this kind of meditation is called non-meditation, because as a experienced meditator in Mahamudra meditation, you need to unlearn some of the skills you have hardly acquired in the progressive meditation practices. So you adjust your posture. So the relaxation aspect of meditation is, of course, always important, but in Mahamudra meditation, that is really crucial, so that we find a way to let go of the need to do something, letting go of the need to know something, letting go of the need to attain something. Mahamudra meditation is a discovery, not something we need to cultivate. It's a discovery of something which is already radiantly present right now. And you can close your eyes if you want. In Mahamudra meditation, often we are encouraged to sit with open eyes, but might be helpful in the beginning. So it might help you to connect with your inner life. And then you allow this shift to happen from the doing, maybe the busyness of the day, like shifting gear, into present moment awareness. And this shift is also a shift from the head into the body. And you can start with a bit of almost like a body scan, just sliding with your attention or your awareness into the whole body, down into your feet, and just noticing your posture, noticing the surface you're sitting on. And then it might be helpful to lightly notice the flow of the in and out breath. And then with each in-breath, you slide or you drop into the body. As if you are riding on the in-breath into the body. And you notice the inner weather. You notice areas of aliveness and flow, or numb areas, but also areas where there's restlessness or contraction. And with the in-breath and our presence, awareness, we welcome the guests in the guest house of the body. And then with the out-breath, there is a quality of letting go. There's a lightness and an effortlessness in the out-breath. The out-breath just happens. Can be in the beginning almost like sighting, putting down a burden, putting down the burden of trying to get somewhere, letting go of the control freak. And then with the in-breath, again, embracing, arriving at your own door and greeting yourself as a friend. And then with the out-breath, softening, opening. And when you do that, you notice that the internal chatter, the internal dialogue, goes a bit more into the background. And we can appreciate that we are together, we are breathing together. Nobody is alone. And only when you notice that, you get really hooked by the blah blah of the inner dialogue, the stories of the narrative self, then you unhook And with the in-breath, sliding back into the aliveness of your body. And then you rest. And it is a bit like resting on a mountaintop. So where you are, you feel the firmness of the mountain. You're connected to the ground. But the tendency is more into open, choiceless, panoramic awareness. How's your belly? Your shoulders? Embracing, touching gently, holding softly with the in-breath. And then with the out-breath, softening, opening. As if you put down a backpack you carry along. You put it down. And you might notice that your breathing space becomes a little bigger. I'm breathing, I'm alive. I'm aware. I'm happening. You might notice that you try to get rid of something or get something. Then again, with the out breath, relaxing the grasping, as if you're opening a fist. So could you allow yourself to find a place of rest in the midst of your experience? And returning and resting. Then I invite you to become aware that whatever you experience right now, pleasant or unpleasant, sounds, feelings, thoughts, the sense of I, the sense of being in your room, in your city, that all of that are appearances within mind, appearances within consciousness, within awareness. The voice you hear right now is experienced within awareness, within consciousness, within mind. The breath is experienced within awareness, within consciousness, within mind. Also, the sense of the surface you're sitting upon is an experience within consciousness, within mind. In this way, you can say that this moment is like a dream. And then into this space, into this shared space of consciousness, of awareness, into this field, I invite the presence of His Holiness the Dalai Lama and Lama Zopa, Lama Yeshe. But also I encourage you to invite the presence of mentors and role models, Buddhist or non-Buddhist, male or female. And we call upon the presence of all our mentors. And they fill the space between us, around you, with essence love, with warmth, with joy, with light. This is an experience like the rising sun after a night of terror, a night of fear. And you are sitting outside and you're just bathing in the morning sun. And the fear of the night just dissolves, just disappears. If you have a connection to a mentor, then you might hear his voice, her voice. You hear them move. And they surround you like angels, Buddha angels, tantric angels. It's not important that you have clear mental images. But maybe you can have a sense in your body that you're bathing in loving awareness. Every cell of your body, from the toes to the top of your head. And then you just rest and you let yourself be infinitely loved, unconditionally loved. And again, we can appreciate that we are here together. It's not my love or your love, it's universal love. And not only this group, but there's many, many other thousands of people who are with us right now in the presence of the divine. And Lama Yeshe is here, and Lama Zopa, and His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So you can relax. You're safe. And there's nothing you need to do. There's no pressure. Nothing is being asked of you. There's nothing you need to understand, nothing you need to improve. Just resting in light from all directions. And this doesn't need to be dramatic. It can be quiet, still. A glimpse of peace, a glimpse of a vastness, a glimpse of timelessness. Yes, and the movements within you, feelings, thoughts, your mood, sounds, tiredness or freshness, all of that is held, is happening within the loving awareness of all Buddhas, which is your true nature. And returning and resting. And there might be initially a sense of an observer, a witness, subtle sense of I. You make a backward step into vastness, into boundarylessness, into centerlessness. Recognizing that also the sense of the observer, the sense of the witness, is an appearance within awareness, within consciousness. It is an object. And then you rest. The conditioned level of your being, the display of your karma, Sem in Tibetan, the clouds, appearances within mind, like a dream. Empty appearances, they don't have any substance. They vividly appear like a rainbow, but there's nothing really you can touch or hold on to. But even if there's a lot of thoughts, and maybe you are tired or restless, that's the content of your experience. There's still vastness, isn't there? And even if there's just a glimpse, a kind of intuition of joy, tenderness, aliveness, peace, stillness. Maybe you can bring that a bit to the foreground. And I call upon the mighty loving stillness of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, of Jesus, which is your true nature. Empty appearances, like dreamlike, vividly appear in the display of your karma, like clouds coming and going, but there's also the sky, presence, boundaryless and centerless, timeless, undescribable, ungraspable, where you are most deeply yourself, deeper than your gender, deeper than your name, deeper than your personality. And then if you space out, you can emphasize the in-breath and out-breath again. But then with the out-breath, going into vastness, into timelessness, into presence. And it's really good enough if there's just a glimpse for a moment. There might be also a sense of shrinking again, or a sense of resistance to go over the threshold into the unknown. So that's a good sign to stay there. Residing in the center of our being, the sun of love and wisdom. Please reveal yourself. I'm ready. Ultimate Lama, please reveal yourself. Tara, the Great Mother, Prajnaparamita, please reveal yourself. And any feeling, any thought, any movement in the felt sense of your body is recognized as a movement within awareness, within consciousness in its dreamlike nature. You feel it, you are intimate with it, but it doesn't bother you so much because you're so big. You can afford to feel your feelings. Because you are not alone. Could it be that there's nothing wrong with you? Could it be that you're lovable as you are? can relax now. You're safe. Could you allow yourself to gravitate to a sense of deep wholeness, a deep connectedness, a deep contentment, to gravitate towards it? I'm not talking about experiencing it completely, but to gravitate towards love. Undescribable love, ungraspable love. And that's why we are here. Here in this meeting, in this meditation, but maybe even here, like in general. That's why you are happening. It's an opportunity to make contact. And heal that which prevents you to be helpful. Heal that which prevents you to become an expression of essence love. A vessel for essence love. So that through your mouth and through your eyes, through your hands, through your heart, through your belly, through your feet, healing, peace, compassion radiates into the world, into your life. And then if you have your eyes closed, and in your own time you open your eyes. Maybe you want to shift your position or stretch a little, but try to stay a bit connected with the aliveness in your body. And with a sense that essence love is looking through your eyes. And of course, with love, we always start right where we are, with ourselves, but then also with the people we are connected with in that moment, and that's us as ambassadors for all beings. And it can be a beautiful moment of love looking at love, as if the same loving awareness recognizes each other. And the struggles we all have in our life, I mean, we are all more or less screwed up, is held together. The anxiety we experience as a culture also, as something we are in the same boat, we hold that together. So by touching whatever you can touch lovingly within yourself right now, you touch all of us. You do it for all of us. And of course, it could be that you feel rather isolated also in this meeting now. Kind of feeling I can't really connect. So that is an experience within loving awareness. It is an appearance, like a dream-like experience, which is not personal. And we can allow that. Just feel your feelings. For all of us. And feeling your feelings mainly means to feel the felt sense of your feelings in the body. So you can interrupt me if you have a question or a comment. You can also write on the chat.
Hi, Stephan. It's
Hi. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I already felt that in the last session, you more or less spilled all the secrets of the practice in a more descriptive way, and then today felt like the pointing out way, where we're really, you guided us, and then it's up to us to discover what's really there. Does this fall under what you would call pointing out instructions, today's session?
Yes, I'm a bit shy to say, like this was a pointing out instruction. It's like this would be like a little bit like saying I give initiations or something like that. But
just terminology wise here.
yeah, yes, but it is. I mean, so what I do when I guide this kind of meditation, I how to say that so that it doesn't sound so grand. Yeah. I relax it, so the relative I relaxes into presence, and then I allow presence to speak the words. So it's not like planned, or so it's kind of I talk from presence to presence. And of course the narrative selves, they also listen to that, but I just try to find some words for my own experience, and then different words and different metaphors, they speak to different people. So sometimes a word like spacious loving awareness, when they are spoken by someone who tastes what these words are pointing to, and who is aware that the words are not it, can trigger a resonance, some kind of yeah, or and these are different words for different people. So that's why I try to talk, with different metaphors, with different words, also talking on different kind of sense channels. Yeah? So to hope that one of the things I say, they kind of hit the kind of right place, and in that way, it's a pointing out instruction. But it's not like a kind of a traditional pointing out of instruction by a fully realized master. But for some people, and this is also my experience in my own path, sometimes this kind of more informal kind of peer-like exploration and pointing out instructions, sometimes for some people, it's more conducive actually to start to get a taste instead of being in a kind of full-blown ritualistic guru thing. Yeah? So, yeah. So yes, I would say it's a pointing out instruction. Yes.
May I ask a follow-up question, which what is your take on living from we enter this meditation, or call it sitting or non-meditation, or but whatever term, that already is blending a little bit the experience of meditation with the experience of living, and in terms of living from this space. So I might not be sitting, I might be walking, I might be at work, I might be I find that there's lots of different takes on this I've heard, but if I categorize into just two, there's one line of instruction that has spoken, or that speaks about, uprooting that sense of self, and then you live without a sense of separation. And then I've also heard that the ego comes back, but the relationship with the ego is different. So there is a sense of separateness, but there's something bigger that encompasses and that sort of. And I find in my practice, the latter, I tried very hard to do the former for many years, no ego, and then having a non-dual, and then within a matter of time, getting back to ego. And then it's actually, I think, through Kelly, another instructor, that I was first familiarize with the proposal, well, maybe the point is not to, always live in the space of there's no duality whatsoever, but there's an opportunity to live in a space that recognizes the duality, but doesn't make it so serious, make it so real. I wonder where you are on that spectrum.
Yeah, it seems that for you, this what you described, that is somehow more conducive or more liberating, or it gives you a sense of relaxation and spaciousness, and then if you continue to do that, and then you bring some, and that's something I wanted to talk about a bit, you bring a bit of the teachings on emptiness of the self, the reflection on it, and bringing that into the Mahamudra meditation, into the non-dual meditation, then slowly, the contraction, which is initially part of your experience, so it still continues, the contraction and the habits and the grasping, but you have an experience there is also something which is bigger than that, so you are a bit of in a witness perspective or in an observer perspective. But then through the investigation into the emptiness of the self, slowly you undermine that very subtle, I mean, the observer, the sense of the observer, the sense of a witness is a very subtle level of the I, which does not exist. So I think for most of us, this approach that, and I also use that in this meditation, how I said also the sense of I, the sense of being in a room, the sense of the body is an object of awareness. And that's fine. Yeah? And then slowly it might relax even more. Instead of having this idea one needs to fight something or one needs to deconstruct it or something like that. So that is that would be a very conceptual approach. But here we're talking about experience.
They're actually on the same path.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Stephan, hi, this is Shankar here. Thank you so much for this. I just have a comment here. I just noticed for myself finding safety in the communion of silence with the masters was hugely helpful. So I just wanted to
absolutely
say that aloud. Yeah, thank you so much for that. That is so very that we all loved just the way we are was so very helpful. Just want to share that. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is a very important I think gift of that kind of guru yoga practice or kriya yoga practice with a deity, because most of us, we are wounded. Most of us have a sense of not being safe in the body, in your own being, because we were not held unconditionally in our upbringing. So the healing aspect of the loving presence of a master can be such a beautiful contribution to one's own healing process. And this, we can, of course, we are still aware that the symbol, the archetypical symbol of Lama Zopa, of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, they are symbols, aspects of our Buddha nature, or of the shared Buddha nature. Yeah, so it's not like that we are calling someone to come here. What we are doing in that kind of practice, we are connecting through the symbol of the image of the deity or the image of the guru. We connect with that safe space within us, which we have disconnected from. And for many people, this is actually the way to bring the most important thing into our meditation practice, whatever our meditation practice is, and that is a sense of deep tenderness, a deep friendliness, a deep love. But how can you connect with that quality if your being, your psychological being, hasn't experienced that? And then, of course, for many people, and that's the power in the Tibetan tradition, that they are living masters, where we are not only on the symbolic level in our practice, but we start to recognize that quality as something which exists. It is a pity if that relationship to one's teacher stays onto that kind of unhealthy dependency, and like I'm the student forever and the master is the master forever, and I will never get there because I'm not Tibetan or something like that. So it's important to be aware that when we relate to a teacher, we relate to projection. It's the projection of our goodness, which then is reflected back to us through His Holiness the Dalai Lama. He is there because he wants to point out to you who you are. Someone asked about self-compassion. Can assist with that? Yes, it can, of course. But it's a bit more provisional, I would say, self-compassion practice, at least in the way, I'm working with the material of Christine Neff or Christopher Germer, and I've been benefited from that, and I have met many people I worked with this material who benefit from it. So it is a kind of a provisional healing step, which is maybe in the beginning, it always depends also. I mean, the work of Christine Neff and Christopher Germer, that's also available for, for a materialist, who, but so the love here in the Mahamudra tradition, that is something more profound. It is unconditioned. But of course, a work with the different aspects of your internal family, of the inner aspects, and using more healthy aspects of yourself to heal the others, like being kind to yourself and things like that. That is a good. It's a good preparation to open for the primordial love, which is not something you do. Self-compassion you can do. There are steps, and it's a view which is available to people who maybe are not open yet to the possibility that we are already infinitely loved. We are love. We are that essence love.
Stephan, I had a question.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this practice. Very wonderful and healing. So I guess in the traditions that, especially in Geluk, there's a great emphasis on first a conceptual understanding of the object of negation, and then you start blah, blah, blah. Do you think that that is the only, is it necessary for liberation and enlightenment, or is there another path that's equally valid?
Yeah. Obviously, yes. Maybe I'm not supposed to say this because yes, I mean, that's what. So in the Geluk tradition, a Mahamudra teacher would always say, first, what you definitely need is shamatha. Yeah? I mean, don't start even to explore the awareness because you need shamatha. And the other is in the Geluk tradition, they hold the view that you can reach you can reach the experience of the emptiness of awareness only through a correct intellectual understanding. And there's other ways, even within the Tibetan tradition. Yeah, even if you stay in the Tibetan tradition, then that view is debated, and so there's different views on that. Lama Yeshe in this book, he is kind of, he puts a bit down the kind of, he makes a really different, he differentiates. So he's talking about the experience of Mahamudra meditation, and so he's not emphasizing the kind of intellectual understanding, but still, I think it's helpful to have a good training in the Madhyamika Prasankika view and bring that into the Mahamudra meditation, because that also prevents us to make essence love or Buddha nature, to make it into something, something which is findable. So that is, that would be a bit as if we make emptiness or Buddha nature or essence love into a kind of God, which can be described and which we can attain and which is separate from us. But but I think the challenge, and I've heard also Geluk teachers saying that, the challenge in the Geluk tradition is people get completely into the head, and they study emptiness, master program or something like that, and they don't become kinder people. They don't become more relaxed because they have, they might be even more difficult to be around. And then when you ask them, so do you have a taste of emptiness? No, because I need to still study 10 years and I haven't read that text and things like that. So I think Geluk teachers like Lama Yeshe, that's really important and refreshing that they emphasize the taste and the experience right now where we are, also with our kind of beginner's understanding of emptiness, of the teachings of the Prasankika Madhyamika teachings. And they are actually good enough to have a taste of the, like some of you did with my meditation now, which we did, a sense of some release, a sense of being held for a moment, a sense of the possibility of healing. And those of you who have studied Prasankika Madhyamika, you will probably notice that what I guide in my meditations is in accordance with these teachings. Yeah, so it's like it's not that I say something completely different, but it's not a philosophical discourse. Yeah. So for me, it was always helpful to have both. Yeah, so the kind of the combination with the Geluk approach, and probably the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa on emptiness, they are probably the most profound and deep within the Tibetan tradition. I think even Kagyu and Nyingma Lamas could agree with that. Yeah. But then I have been always interested in more the Kagyu Nyingma teachings, also based on one of the first things Lama Zopa told me in my first interview with him, which is was 95. So, wow, that's 25. Yeah, wow, 25 years ago. And what Lama Zopa said to me in that interview, in the first interview after Kopan course, he said to me, so after a while, you drop all practices and all you do is to meditate on the nature of mind. He just said that like that. I didn't really know what it means. But since then, I just was drawn to, so what does it mean to meditate on the nature of mind? And so that initiated my interest, leading me also in Advaita Vedanta teachings and teachings of the Christian mystics. So I benefited also from that. On the other hand, of course, my own stability of resting is enhanced through the practice of shamatha. That's also my experience. And a kind of superficial understanding of the Madhyamika Prasankika teachings, which I have, that is also helpful. But for me, it was always more important to have experience, to taste. And most of us, we don't have the time or the energy to do the too elaborated philosophical thinking of the Geluk tradition. And I mean, you can spend your whole life with it, and you leave empty-handed, just with some conceptual knowledge. For me, it's also in this journey of exploring Mahamudra practice, it was for me always important to see the connection between my psychological history and being here, like understanding the contractions and the addictions and the graspings, and seeing the connection with my psychological history. So that was why I was always drawn to some teachers who have also some appreciation, at least, or some training in Western therapeutical models, like David mentioned Loch Kelly, or in the FPMT that would be Rob Priest, and then another student of Lama Yeshe, Peter Fenner. So these are like kind of three teachers with an appreciation of Western wisdom regarding trauma, regarding what I bring into the space of Mahamudra meditation, to have a bit of understanding there, and with that more compassion to what comes up for me. Someone is asking about the so that's Rob Priest. He's used to teach a lot in Machapani. Then there's Loch Kelly and Peter Fenner. And Rob Priest and Peter Fenner, they are both students of Lama Yeshe. And so these two are kind of, I mean, Lama Zopa is kind of my guru, yeah, but Peter Fenner and Rob Priest are probably the most influential teachers for my own practice, because they combine that security of being in the lineage and having received the teachings and the initiations, but they are also therapists.
Along these lines, this is just curiosity in me, but along with studying Kagu and Nyingma lineage, I've spent a lot of time with Jane Genlin's focusing. And I wondered if you were exposed to that, because I thought I heard.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
So in my own meditations, also when I guide meditations, people who are familiar with focusing, they will notice that I have a bit of that also. Yeah? So since some time, I now got interested into the internal family system therapy by Schwartz, I think is the name of this guy. So it's this kind of starting a dialogue relating to the different aspects of my being which come up in Mahamudra meditation. They are supposed to come up. They are also supposed to come up in Vajrasattva practice. I mean, that's why we do healing practices, to bring material into the conscious mind so that we can touch it and love it to death. And you know, and I think for us it's very helpful to bring a bit of a psychological view on that. And focusing is one part, one tool I really appreciate. So that is, you know, this healing aspect and working with, you know, a focusing or internal family system within your meditation. Of course, that is initial Mahamudra practice. So you work with the content of your experience, and you use loving presence to bring healing into your own being, and then it might be, it's more likely, more probable that essence love, the nature of your mind, can reveal itself. It's like kind of, if you use the image of the clouds and the sky, you would, you know, use some provisional methods to bring some, to lighten stuff up, to bring some space into your inner life through compassion, through healing practice, through body work. It's so important for us to do body work with Mahamudra practice. You know, Kunye, for example, Rob Priest is using Kunye in his work, which is like a kind of a Tibetan yoga developed by Tatam Tulku. So that is provisional healing work. So it's not like actual Mahamudra practice, but it creates the vessel or the container so that the nature of your mind can shine through. So tomorrow, I would like to talk about one aspect of Mahamudra practice, and that is the recognition of what is called the object of refutation, or the object of negation, gaksha in Tibetan. So that is in that initial Mahamudra practice, where you go into the witness, into the observer. So at that point in our Mahamudra meditation, initial Mahamudra meditation, there is still a subtle sense of I, a subtle sense of a central position from where awareness is coming, from where your awareness is coming, from where you're looking. Yeah? As if you are standing, as if you as a being, as a separate being, are located in time and space, and you look from that central position within your experience. So it's really important in the Mahamudra tradition then to start to deconstruct that or investigate into the unfindability of a central position, the unfindability of a separate, solid, permanent I. Yeah? So, and that appearance of a solid, separate I, that leads to all the contractions and to the reactivity and so to the defensiveness, and also through that sense of separation from me and the content of my experience, and to kind of relax into the experience of non-duality, which is the experience of Mahamudra. It's really important that we become aware of that deep, innate, rooted contraction around a solid, separate I. So that's what I want to talk about tomorrow, and integrate that a bit into the meditation tomorrow. Yes, so may this meeting be a drop into the ocean of bodhicitta, so that not only we benefit in terms of growing up, healing, waking up, but that our growing up, healing, and waking up is benefiting all beings, because they are not separate. They are you, in a way. This planet is your body. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephan. Very
See you
grateful.
tomorrow.
Thank you, Stephan. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephan.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephan.
Thank you so much.